Let's see how we're doing. Getting everything all booted up. Looks like we're live. That's good. Excellent. I'm just going to let everybody know that I'm streaming. Try to vary the time of this every now and again so that people in other time zones might have some time to watch. I just got in the mood to paint. Had already done my grocery shopping for today. Played a couple of games of Overwatch because the new one's out, so I was like, you know what? Some painting sounds like a pretty good afternoon activity. So that's what I'm getting all set up to do right now. Just letting a couple of the channels that I hang out in know that I am streaming. Hey, 80, welcome back. Yeah, you didn't miss this one. See, that's why I try and vary the times every now and again, because not everybody lives in America land, where we have the same time zone and stuff. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you here. Or maybe you do live in America land and you just have nothing else to do, but I feel like you don't live in America land. I feel like you've mentioned that before. I don't know if that's accurate or not, though. If you do, and I've just made a mistake, I apologize. Hector is causing a ruckus behind me that I might need to go and stop for just a second. Sir. Sir. No. Not today. Ooh, you painted your first Space Marine. Nice. Nice. That's cool. For the Emperor, as they say. Congratulations. That's quite fun. I'm going to be painting some miniatures from the game Townsfolk Tussle. I think I'm going to start with this Chihuahua guy, who has some very big guns strapped to the side of him, which is ridiculous. The design of him's really funny, so I should have a fairly decent time painting him up. Land of tea and biscuits. It's fair. It's fair. What Space Marine chapter did you go with for your paint job? Anything in particular, or did you just be like, you know what, I'm gonna paint this Space Marine whatever colors I feel like, and at the end of it, it will be a Space Marine? Or maybe you made your own chapter, or your own Legion. I watched a couple of lore videos, so I know a thing or two about Space Marines when people talk about them. I'm biased towards the World Eaters because their Primarch's story is very sad, and I was like, yep, I like this one. It's sad. I suppose not that I like exclusively sad stories, but sometimes a good tragic figure is something to rally behind. I do so love really freaking sad stories sometimes. I like stories that aren't sad, but every now and again I'm like, man, that was depressing, but it was also really good. I realize, despite painting a lot of Warhammer miniatures holding guns, I actually don't know how to paint a gun very well, especially a big, huge, chonkin' cartoon gun. So I'm just gonna guess and hope for the best. I think, like, the handle part can be wood. That seems reasonable. And the rest will be metal looking. We'll make it look like metal. Some edge highlighting on that. It'll be fine. I don't know why I'm using the world's crappiest paintbrush. I have a better paintbrush that I could be using. Oh, okay. Have a nice night. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that work for you tomorrow isn't too grating. I've just got a playlist of, like, Halloween ambiance, I don't know how you pronounce that word, going on in the background. But man, that opera guy is really going for it today. Did not know there would be weird Halloween opera on this playlist. And if there was, I would expect, like, Phantom of the Opera. Or I suppose Repo the Genetic, if you're like me and into really terrible musicals. I don't think a lot of people are into that, though. It'll be interesting to see if people show up to this particular stream, just because it's at a very different time than I've ever streamed before. And I'm not sure how that's going to go. But if nothing else, I'll have made some painting progress today. Because I gotta paint up this little guy. They actually announced that this board game is getting an expansion, which I'm really psyched about. My buddy Mark sent me the preview post, and some of the concept art looks like it's gonna be really fun. Already excited, just based on the design of one or two of the new enemies, for how that's gonna work. It looks like they're making multiple different expansions too, which is really cool. So you can pick and choose how many you want to commit to. Of course, we all know that I'm gonna go all in on this and buy everything, because I have what the kids call low impulse control. Ah, Chris, welcome. You just got done working on some new Euclidean Star Strider kill team models. Oh, that's cool. Those are like they've got that, like, robot guy. I feel like there's a dog. They're like the repackaged, Blackstone Fortress characters that are now a kill team, right? Is that the right one? Or are they something different? I feel like it's the repackaged Blackstone Fortress models, but if I'm wrong, that's okay. I've never actually played Kill Team, so I feel like I have all the stuff necessary to play Kill Team, in that I have a lot of painted models and some sci-fi terrain, but I don't actually know much more than that. Yeah, they're like the road traders. Yep, that's it. Okay, cool. I was right. They are the repackaged Blackstone Fortress ones. I knew there was a dog. That's great, because I'm also painting a dog. I'm sure I've painted a dog before. I don't usually paint dog models. I went to the grocery store today because I needed to. My fridge was looking rough. I got all the stuff to make gingerbread. Because I bought separately on a different day, I bought a clown cookie cutter. And I want to make little gingerbread cookies that are shaped like clowns. Um, and then eat them while watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've already asked my friend Mark if he wants to watch that again this year, and he said yes, and then we didn't pick a day to do it on, so I should really follow up about that. So I can schedule my cookie making around hanging out with a friend. But yeah, I'm just kind of excited to make gingerbread clown cookies. I don't know why that's something that's exciting to me. I just feel like it's gonna be good. I'm gonna get a kick out of it. It's important to me to do stuff that is weird and fun just because I can. I want to make all kinds of weird traditions up. That's one of the things I liked about being a kid is that like at Christmas there was a bunch of like Christmas specific books in a tub that would get brought out of like the garage or whatever. And then it was like, "Oh, you can read these ones now," or "Oh, tonight we're going to bake cookies and watch a film." Like I like the tradition aspect to holidays of just, yes, because it is this time of year, it now means we do this thing. So I'm doing my best to make these Halloween special streams with different stuff than I usually paint. I've got a great gingerbread recipe, because the gingerbread that they make at Walt Disney World is like really good. It's not like the kind that's good for building houses, it's the kind that's good for eating. Because the kind that's good for building houses usually tastes pretty crap. But this recipe tastes great. Measure the cardamom with your heart, though. You can put in more than the recipe asks you to do. I'll post it in my Discord server's recipe box, or I'll make a post about it on Instagram, or I'll do something. I'll put it out there into the world that I have a cookie recipe that I enjoy baking. I also got little dark chocolate, like, candy melt kind of things so that I can dip them in chocolate if I want to. I don't know why I thought that was a necessary purchase, but I was at Aldi and I was like, yep. I also bought Halloween socks. Did I need those? No. But they were like $2 and I was like, okay, I'll buy these. Those impulse buy aisles get me every time. I just like seeing what kind of weird stuff they have on sale. I don't know what it is. Okay, cool. He's got his little blasters. Definitely think I need to make his fur like a darker color, so I think I'll mix that up. I don't know how much of this color I have left. Hopefully enough. That's all we can hope for in this world. Oh, wow. You probably have more cardamom than is called for. I quite enjoy putting it in sweets. I think it's good. I just have, like, a jar of it in the kitchen that's, like, the powdered stuff. I don't have the actual pods, because I'm not fancy like that. Okay. There might not be anything left in this bottle, which is fine. I think we're gonna call this one kaput. I'm gonna set it over there. Okay, let's see what we can mix up. Alright, that's probably a bit more than I wanted. That's fine. Color mixing is a science that I don't have a precise recipe for. I just try a different way every time and hope that I get a similar decent result to what I am looking for. That's a little bit more purple than I was hoping. Let's see. I can use this purple, though, before I turn it into a different color. That's why I've got multiple miniatures out right now, is because I know I'm going to do shit like this where I mix up a bunch of colors. So they've got this model called King and Queen, and they're like conjoined royals, who are some of the bad guys. I feel like purple is an appropriate color, usually associated with royalty. I know in the concept art, they're like, they've got a ton of stripes on their like legs and their arms, and they're kind of like reversed. Like they're mirrors of each other, so I don't know how much of that I will incorporate into my version of these characters, but I feel like a purple coat and maybe a purple cape as well is not a bad place to get started. Hi, Anno. I don't have to tell you to go to bed. This is a reasonable hour for you, presumably. How are you? How is it going? V. Gates. Yeah, that's looking okay. Oh, you're a bit tired. Aber sonst geht es mir gut. Ah, fuck. I should not try and speak German. I'm assuming that means other than that, you're good. I'm hoping that's what that means. That's about as much as I can infer from my limited memory of speaking German. I might just line the cape with purple. and then do the outside red. I think that could work good. I'm also hoping that putting a bunch of red in this will help it to read purple. I was not expecting to get purple when I mix things up, but browns can often be pretty purple before they're purple. That makes sense. I don't think that sentence made sense, but I'm still going to roll with it. Browns are purple sometimes. I don't know if there's anything on this model that I can paint purple. Can maybe try and do like the interior, like instead of painting this in black, I'll do it in purple. I like to try and use the same colors across multiple models because that's what they would have done in the 1930s for cartoons and colors. If they mixed up one color, they would try and use it across multiple characters. Because it saves money, you don't have to mix up multiple paint colors, or as many paint colors if you can reuse them. Just get some of that in the interior. I don't know if I've got all of that painted. There's definitely some areas that I've missed, but you're hardly going to see it, so it's all good. I think adding just a touch of yellow will help this get to the brown color that I mean. How are the cats doing? They're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good. Hector is still bullying the cat that I'm cat sitting for a friend, but that cat goes home on Tuesday, so Hector and him will stop their little spats. Hector can go back to just being happy, sweet boy who has no thoughts in his dumb little head. I miss my sweet boy because he's been grumpy boy for a while. So it'll be nice to have sweet boy back. He's not the best at getting along with others. Your green stuff order arrived. That's fantastic. What are you going to build? What are you going to green stuff? I guess sculpting, building, whatever you want to call it. It's gotten a little bit cold where I live, so I thought, oh, I'll just turn on the heat. It'll be fine. And then it was burning. It was way too hot. So I have to find a happy medium between cold and hot, because it's not quite cold enough to warrant turning on the heat. As I discovered rudely when I turned it on. And it did that thing, too, where, like, if you haven't turned on the heat for a while, it just kind of smells like everything's burning. So now my house kind of has that, oh, you turned on the heater smell. And I realized I could play around with adjusting the temperature a bunch, but I didn't feel like messing with it that much today. So it'll be sweatshirts and blankets. Oh no, oh dear. I never, ever bundle up in thematic Halloween blankets or anything like that. What a crime that would be. It's very cute, this model. I like it a lot. I think I'm going to leave some areas tan, because sometimes dogs have, like, areas on their faces that are lighter than others. That's a thing, right? And that two-toned, dog look, I mean, the 1930s wasn't particularly the era that it was, popular in, but I think, yeah, the story goes that Walt Disney Studios saw, the film Balto and thought that the two tones on the dog Balto looked really good, so that's why in Lady and the Tramp, Tramp also has that effect, which I think is just a neat little fun fact. You bought Milliput, texture paste, and tufts for basing. Cool. So you're finishing already painted models. That makes sense. Yeah, that's good to do. I never like consider my models finished until I've actually painted like all of the bases and done the base rims and everything like that. So if I was without basing material, I'd be like, I finished like 36 models today. It would just be like, did you paint that many in a day? No, I finished them because they all needed their basing done. But my basing tends towards the quicker side in general, because I like things that I can do quickly for bases, but look like I spent a decent amount of time on them. I do like green stuff sculpting for bases. It's honestly pretty fun. I'm lucky with these models that they already have like fun little details on the bases. That I like. I don't really feel the need to add to them or change anything on them. But definitely with some of the other models, like these Tarantulos brood ones that I'm working on, like I have no idea what to do for the base on that guy. What goes with this bright of a color scheme in terms of basing? I have no idea. So I'll have to try and figure that out. Still got plenty of model to paint. But I think he's looking fun. I like his sort of crazy bug-eyed expression. I don't think they have like a cat model in this current game, like this edition. So I'm interested to see if any of their expansions will have like a cat character, because I think that would be really fun, and I'd like it personally. I might be slightly biased though, but I mean, it's not like he didn't have cat cartoons in the 1930s. Felix the Cat was definitely a big hit. There were cats in the Alice comedies. there were tons of little, like, cat characters as side characters and just the Mickey Mouse cartoons, so I feel that a cat would be right in the correct neighborhood for this game. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And then I can use some of this brown to do the dirt in between the cobblestones on these bases, which is probably way too early to do, but you know what? That's fine. I'm still gonna do it. And I do have to paint up this little guy's Boy Scout uniform, so maybe I'll change that. I'll add a little bit more yellow to that brown and see what kind of color we get, and sort of a khaki kind of range. See if we can make that work. You know, of all the games in the world that I might have actually painted along with the box art, I could easily have seen this being one of the ones. That would have made a lot of sense for me to do. But even here, I'm just like, yeah, box art, schmox art, I'll do what I want. It doesn't always work out, though. Sometimes I genuinely like the box art scheme a little bit better than what I come up with. You walked away after that message. What did you miss? You haven't missed anything. Just been painting, talking. Same old on this stream. I haven't done anything super interesting to tell you guys about in the past couple of days, so, you know, it's just me mixing up colors and working on these 4 little guys at the same time. I've been mentioning how I like to use the same colors across multiple models in this game so that they kind of look like they belong together. So I mix up a brown, I'll use it on more than one mini if I have a good reason to. You get frustrated with mixing colors. I understand. It can be a annoying process. Especially if you, like, have an idea, like, I guess science-wise, you're like, well, red and yellow should make orange, and then you mix together your red and yellow, and you're like, why the fuck isn't that orange? Because it's extremely dependent on how the paints you are working with at the time react with each other, and what kind of pigments make them up, and how much of each that you use. So, yeah, mixing paint can be its own sort of science and art form there. It's hard to get right sometimes. Especially because with mixes of colors, and even just regular colors in general, they can look very different when put next to other colors. because of how our brains work and shit like that. So it's even dependent on like the lighting, it can be different. There's definitely a lot that can go wrong when mixing colors. That's for sure. I tend to use colors right out of the box because I'm not, like, usually I'm painting something for an army or something like that, and I need it to look the same every time for, like, a bunch of guys that I'm going to be painting over multiple days. I'm luckier here with these models because I can just sort of do whatever, and as long as, you know, they don't all have to have shopped at the same tailor, you know, they're not an army, they don't need a uniform, so I'm less concerned about having them all line up perfectly. Yep, and then you forget what proportions you used exactly. Yeah, that's why I tend to use bottled color, so to speak, for my armies. Because I can get a more consistent result. But it's very fun to just be able to pick up colors and mix them around. Or, like, if you've been working on an army for a while and you're just kind of sick of painting the same colors, it's very refreshing to just do a bunch of other random projects. Like, I love the towel that I'm working on, but I got really tired of painting my towel color scheme. So I'm really happy to just be working with new sculpts, different ideas, different, like, themes that I'm trying to pull off. Because I know my channel is called Sugar Candy Miniatures, but these guys aren't supposed to look like they're made out of candy. So, a little bit of false advertising there on my parts. Sorry, guys. No candy today. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on how long I stream for. I might switch over to a candy project, but I don't think so. I want to try and get all of the Townsfolk Tussle minis finished before the end of October. I think that would be really great if I could pull that off. Because then I'd have a board game that I've played that I really enjoy playing, all painted up and finished, and I can just be like, okay, that's one less thing that I'm like, I should, like, you know, I shouldn't buy anything new because I still have to paint my Townsfolk Tussle minis. I'll be like, oh, I painted those, great. That's one project I can be like, I completed that. That one's done. Also, I kind of just like the idea of this game existing in the past, similar to, I think, a feeling that people had when they played Cuphead for the first time, where they just had, like, you really kind of like that all of the packaging and everything, all of the menus, all the cutscenes, it all feels like it very much could have existed if a couple, like, it's almost like a weird form of time travel. I'm not saying I want to live in the 1930s, but if, like, there had been a board game of this that existed, I would have wanted to have found it in an antique store or something like that. You know? Does that people follow that enough to understand what I meant, I think. That's why you like painting for Kill Team? Yeah. I really am trying to come up with an idea for how to paint the Necromunda models that I have, because I really want to try out Necromunda. I don't have... I think I have a few friends who have played a game before, so maybe I can be like, hey, teach me how to play Necromunda, please. I can slap together some terrain. But, yeah, I really like the idea of having little guys and making little stories for them. Someone said that 5 parsecs from home was great for that, and I have that rulebook, and I need to, like, actually figure out how to build up my little crew. I've got some weird kit bashed guys that I was originally going to use for Stargrave that I never quite got around to painting. Though I do have the rulebook for Stargrave. We see a theme here. We definitely see a pattern. I still need to paint up those guys, though. I like a few of those kit bashes. Especially Corporal Chicken Legs. I don't know if he's actually going to be a corporal. I don't understand how the military ranking system works, and I have absolutely no desire to learn. But I have the kit bash sitting, like, in a drawer right next to me, so I'll pull it out. But I built this really weird guy. He's super tall and weird. And he's probably one of my favorite little weirdos. My little space weirdos that I ever built. The idea from, like, my Stargrave crew was that they were they were bad guys. I wanted to make some villains. And essentially what these villains were going to be doing, they were like an exotic dining club. So they just wanted to go to planets and then, like, sort of most dangerous game style hunt down stuff and cook it and eat it. And their spaceship would be a giant, weird, fancy restaurant. I don't know why I got this idea or how I got this idea, but yeah, that's kind of the concept that I have. Let's see. I'm trying to get him in focus so you can see him. There you go. So this is him. This is good old Corporal Chicken Legs. He's got some really tall legs. I don't remember what kit they came from. He's got a Delac Ganger trench coat. He's got an arm with a gun. I don't know if that was from the Delac kit or not. I think he's got, like, a Chaos Sorcerer head. He's also got 3 arms, which is kind of fun. He doesn't have, like, a jetpack or anything, but he's super tall compared to, like, this is just your average Necromunda guy. He's tall. But I love him. He's a space weirdo. And I want to paint him at some point. I'm sure I have a couple of the other... Yeah, I have another one that I kit bashed. Got this little guy who was going to be, like, an engineer type character. He's this little, like, frog man in a raincoat, and then I put a space backpack on him, and I gave him a fancy ray gun. And he was gonna be, like, grumpy, but also good-hearted, maybe? I don't know. What other space weirdos do I have? Oh, I have the pet, just like this thing. They're just gonna hang out on the ship and cause mischief. I think that might be it for all the space weirdos that I have, but let me see if I have any other ones. Oh, I think we got one more. Yeah. This guy. He's got, like, a gun and a robot head and a little communication thingy-do that he's holding. He was gonna be, I think I was gonna make him like a hacker of some sort. But yeah, I only have four of that kit bashing process that survived. Of me making random characters. And one of them isn't even a kit bash. He's just a fish guy. Oh, I guess I also have this one, but I really hate how he turned out, and I want to turn him into something else, so I think this one's destined for Bits box territory, because I'm not very happy with how he turned out. I love this head as, like, such a good head for making aliens, but I just don't like how it connects with anything else, so I think I'm going to cut this one up and try again. What do you guys think? That reminds you of the Most Dangerous Game episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars? That was a good episode. I liked that one. God, I really just want to paint this guy up now. But I have no idea, like, what color schemes I want to use, or what game he's going to actually be for, or if Corporal Chicken Legs is really a good name for him. I'm going to put him back in the drawer for now. But I want to work on them. I really want to do something sci-fi. I don't know why. I don't know why my heart's just like, you know what? Space is neat. But I suppose having a lot of people watch this channel who are also fans of the Warhams, you might also feel that space is neat. Yeah, space weirdos are just cool. I'm hoping that maybe if I finish, like, you know, enough of my townsfolk tussle miniatures, I want to see if I can get my Tarantulos brood finished this month. I'm making some lofty goals, because I think that's sometimes the best way to accomplish stuff. But if I can, you know, knock out some of those goals, then I'd have time to work on my space weirdos. Just also have to, you know, make videos and things like that. There's a lot going on all the time. It's never as simple as just doing one thing. Oh, I knocked him over. I suppose I could pick like a really simple color scheme for Space Station Zero or Stargrave or 5 parsecs from home kind of vibes. Whatever I decide to actually use those miniatures for. So this character is a safe that is like the lone officer in the town in this board game. Which is hilarious, but in her key art, she's actually gold, and I really liked the idea of a safe made out of gold, so that gets to stay. Oh no, Glenny's making up lore for my space crew. I think I'd have to give a nod to the song from a band called Steam Powered Giraffe They have this song called Steamboat Shenanigans, and they're just singing about, I don't even remember, but the steamboat that they're singing about is called the SS Biscuiteer, which I thought was cute. So maybe that's what I'll name the restaurant. I just gotta, make sure that it's very clear that the space bandits that I would be playing are bad guys. Cannibalism is bad, and you should not do it. Maybe to make that clear, I'll name the spaceship after whoever wrote The Most Dangerous Game, but I don't remember who that is. I recently also read this novel by I believe it's an Argentinian author, called Tender is the Flesh, which I bought because the title was fucking baller, and also I like reading spooky books at the Halloween times, and it was definitely a book about, oh, what if, a plague hit the world and you couldn't, and all the animals were gone and people still wanted to eat meat, so they legalized cannibalism. And that was an interesting and also not interesting book to read, because I was interested in parts of it, and then they focused on parts that I wasn't so interested in. It was okay, though. I understand why it got awards and people liked it. Just not my particular cup of tea. It was only like 100 pages, 180 pages maybe, so, it was worth a read. I've been reading more this year. I've read several books. And I'm very proud of that, because I had not been reading very much last year. Most of them are Mojing Tongju novels, okay? We all have our vices, and sometimes I just want to read novelizations of animes that I've already watched, which is fair. I'm allowed to do that. But I've still been reading. It still freaking counts. I don't know why I'm avoiding painting this arm when I'm literally going to paint it the same color. It's just out of habit. Good job. You want it to be clean. I'm hoping this will still read as gold after I've highlighted it, and not like peanut butter or something. It's very much a peanut butter sort of color that we've gotten into. I have learned a good deal about color just by trying to mix up so many colors for this game. Like, it has taught me things about the paint, and just like how to try and make something cool toned or warm toned, or how one color can read as another color. Like gray is so versatile. Gray can read as blue or green or yellow. Gray can be so many different colors, and I do not paint with gray well enough, so I need to like work with that more. Hey, Steam Power Giraffe is dope. I'm glad you're a fan, Persephone. Did you just name the fish Babblefish? I'm definitely gonna call the fish Babblefish now, if he ends up being part of the crew. That's hilarious. I like that. Sorry, I got really focused on painting that gold for a second there for no reason and went completely silent. It happens. It happens. I'm glad you guys like my little space weirdo guys. I wonder if I might have footage of me kit bashing them. I honestly don't know. I can't remember if I started that before or after I started this channel. Because I've definitely had them kicking around for a while. I also really like the idea of a space werewolf. I don't know why that idea appeals to me so much, but I just want a werewolf in space. Because I think it would be funny if, like, he would be affected by the different, like, whatever moon and whatever solar system they're currently going towards. Like, if he's in a new solar system, it's like, oh no, guys, I'm wolfing out right now because this planet has like 36 moons and they're all full. And he becomes like a supercharged space werewolf. Is that anything? Did I say words that made sense to anybody but me? See, this is why I find it so hard to talk about like concepts for videos or ideas that I have, because they're all really just like loose nonsense in my brain until I start making things, or I have images that I can point to, or I have to write something down and like think about how to explain it to another person. It can be tough. Like, when I was organizing that clown collab, I was like, oh, right, I should probably put these details into words that aren't just like, here's the vibe of what I'm going for. Here's a mood board. Do what you can with that, guys. This is looking pretty good, though. She's got like a little book on her head. It's probably all of the student loans that people have applied for in this town. Ooh, if with the different moons they turn into different creatures, that could be fun. So he keeps oscillating between like a wolf and a kangaroo. Ah, that's funny. Glennie, I think it was because, like, the art that you posted, you had written, quite a few, like, words on there, and I don't have it, like, pulled up, right now to take a look, but a lot of them, like, seemed very anti-war, so that's probably why. The phrases had that, anti-war vibe to them. gotta drink a lot of water because the air is getting dry for whatever reason out here. It's terrible. Just taking a hydration break. I'm drinking water. I got water. I was drinking a Coca-Cola earlier. Which I know doesn't actually count for hydration. It's got water in it, but all the other shit in there is just gonna go straight to clogging up the old lungs or whatever the shit. Listen, life sucks sometimes, so I'm gonna drink my Coca-Colas. And I have to decide if I'm going to, because I went to the grocery store and I bought things for both tacos and beef stew. Because I was just like, that's what I want to eat recently. I want, like, tacos and I want beef stew. So, like, that, okay, that's an idea. Let's get the stuff for that. And I have to decide which one of those I'm making tonight. I know, riveting content. Me planning what to eat for dinner. Gosh. I'm worried that this kid is gonna turn out too brown by painting this uniform khaki, but he's got like an Eagle Scout uniform. So I feel like it's gotta be brown. I'll give his scarf like a bold color. I'll make it red, I think. But you can already see, like, against the green, this reads more gold. With more of these neutrals, it doesn't quite read gold. It still looks more brown. So that's colors and how they interact right there being kind of interesting. Hi, Dark Matter Crafts. How's it going? You have coffee, which is basically the same things. You don't come here for high-octane action, honestly. High-octane action seems so on brand for me. I'm very extreme action stunts and amazing high-speed car chase. I don't know. All I can think about is Mad Max and the part where at the beginning it's like high octane crazy blood filling me up, because I've practically memorized the script to that film, because it's my favorite and I've seen it quite a few times. It's a good movie. Fast Five, or was your favorite Fast and Furious movie? They have one called Fast Five, um, which I did see at one point, but honestly, all of the Fast and Furious movies kind of blend together. And I'm not like the biggest Fast and Furious fan, so I can't tell you the distinctions between the various ones. And like if a new one comes out and people want to go see it, I'll just go see it. I won't feel the need because I definitely haven't seen all of them. I don't feel the need to like go back and try and keep up with what's happening. I'm like, it's a Fast and Furious movie. It's going to tell me what I need to know. Yeah, this works for his uniform color. It's giving me very like Moonrise Kingdom vibes, which is, that's scouts, so that makes sense. There you go. I could also make his little sheriff's hat that color, but I don't know if that's too. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. I have the color mixed up. I might as well. Violence without misery made by smart people. Yeah, exactly. I think it's interesting to look at uh movies that are about surviving the apocalypse versus movies that are about living during the apocalypse. Like, it's not a distinction I had been aware of for a while. Um, and then when watching Evangelion for the first time, I didn't quite have the words for it at first. But that's one of the takeaways that I have from it. Like, Mad Max Fury Road is a film about surviving. That is one of the core themes of it, and that's fine. That's good. It works for the film. Um, but I think Evangelion is more about living, and how these characters are living during this extremely, like, crazy time. And it's probably something that I can talk smarter about after I've had time to think about it for a while. Uh, but I feel like there's a lot of films about the survival aspect do have quite a lot of misery happen to their characters all the time, to the point where it's almost like, God, I cannot watch this because it is so depressing. I can only watch these characters suffer for so long, you know? Some of these parts of his vest are just going to be all but impossible to reach. So we'll see what we can get. But, like, if it's completely covered by a gun, I'm not going to bother too much because it's just a waste of time and effort, frankly. There are little gold coins on the base, so I'm going to try and pick those out. The Road is a miserable, yeah, that is a pretty miserable book / movie, but there is a point to it. Yeah, I remember particularly, I listened to the audiobook of that, The Road by Cormac McCarthy. And there are scenes from it that stick with me, like when the kid insists that they split the packet of hot chocolate mix, and is like, you can't just always give me more than what we agreed to, like, just because I'm a kid. You also need to, like, have and eat things and have things like hot chocolate. And then also when, like, they're on the beach, and I think someone sets off a firework or something in the distance. I don't remember because it's been a really long time since I read The Road or listened to The Road, but there are parts of it that I remember in, like, vague detail that definitely still linger around. Because, like, at one point they find, like, a doomsday shelter and are kind of just like, oh, we'll hide out here, you know, we're good, we're set now, and for one reason or another that doesn't work out, so there's a lot of bad stuff that happens for sure. But it's been a while. I don't think I could read that now, though. I have a really tough time, and I know I just said I read, like, a novel, but, like, that was pretty heavy. I'm not sure what direction exactly I had expected it to take. Horror is one thing, but just, like, generic apocalypse books, if I know what I'm getting into and I know it's going to be like a dystopian or apocalypse story, I've pretty much lost my taste for them after, well, while we're still in this pandemic. It's not a genre that I really have any desire to read more of at the current moment. So if something's going to be really kind of dystopian or apocalyptic, I either have to not know going in, like I didn't know that that's kind of what, that was some of the themes of Ava, which again I did like, but I may not have gotten around to watching it if I knew that was what it was about. It's hard to say for sure. I know all of this is vague as hell. Sorry if I'm not the best at explaining. There's so much gold on the king and queen model, too. I didn't realize how much of this would just be me painting gold. But hey, it's still content. Yes, I really did like the Ava Unit 0 models that you posted. They're very cool. They're very cool. And you found one of the ones where Unit 0 is running with the bomb, too, which is kind of cool. This big old sword. I'm sure if I have to fight these guys in the game, it's not going to be easy. They look tough. I haven't fought every ruffian in the game yet, because I've only had a few games of townsfolk tussle. But I did tell my friends who I'd play with before, I was like, I've gotten a few more of them painted up. We should have another game soon. So I'm hoping that that'll come to pass and get to play again. I'm lucky to have a friend, Marty, who's good at reading rule books and then understanding the rules and being able to explain them. I struggle with that sometimes. It's something I want to get better at, but it definitely helps to have like the rules person and just be like, "Yep, help me figure out how to play this game, please." Suppose I could be painting some of these details silver, but I don't want to. I think having them gold is going to be fun. It's also on Thingiverse, so they should be free. Okay, cool. They have STLs of the Lance as well. Cool, cool. Still working on the gold. Gotta get these crowns done. And I think, hopefully, that's the last gold thing that I have to paint in terms of base coats. And we can move on to a different color. I didn't know I'd be putting this much gold on things, but hey. Sometimes that's just how it works out. They all look like they belong in the same cartoon now as well, which is fun. Didn't realize she had this little necklace. I'll pick that gold as well. We'll see how much of a non-metallic metal we get, which is going to be not much at all, Technically, it is non-metallic metal because I've just painted metal with a non-metallic paint, but it's definitely not going to be as shiny as the gold that some painters out there know how to achieve. Today you learn that a film made using film and a movie is made with moving pictures. Active collection of pictures. If pictures that technology means a Battle of Britain film and a means Battle of Britain is a film and Wallace and Gromit is a movie. I mean, movie and film are pretty interchangeable. So, at least in the common like lexicon, I think there might be the technical like designation, I suppose, as to what's a film and what's a movie, but I use them interchangeably, as I expect do most people. Also, no reason to slander Wallace and Gromit, okay? Aardman Studios makes some great stuff. They're looking pretty good. I'm happy with how these are turning out. Although sometimes I can't tell if I like them because of my paint job or if I just genuinely think that the sculptors made an interesting miniature to paint and it just looks good once it has paint on it, regardless of if that paint job is good or bad. Sometimes I think you can just attribute things to character design being good, but hey, you gotta take the wins where you can. Now we gotta decide whether we lighten this more and try and go for highlight colors, or if we darken it down, try and get a brown for the sack. I'm gonna go for lightening it, seeing if I can get something kind of interesting. I don't know why I'm mixing with this one. I should be mixing with the crappier brush that I have. Let's see. That'll work for what I want to be brown. It won't work for gold. Okay, that's fair. Could do little details like the pockets. I need my brush to not be dripping that much water though. Smaller brush that I can use for these details actually, so that's what I should do. Should be smart. Your dad gets annoyed when you use them wrong in context. That's like a really weird thing to get annoyed about, but okay, sure. I guess everybody has their little pet peeves. But if someone was really expecting me to remember which movies had been shot on film and which ones had been shot with digital cameras, like, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I just have more going on in my life. And even though I like movies and think it's interesting, I don't have the time to remember which is done which way. My brain will not store that data, sorry. Oh, this guy's little deputy hat is so cute. Hell yeah. Looks good. Happy about it. Now I'll see if I can darken that color down into another shade of brown. There's been a lot of brown happening, and I apologize, but sometimes you just need quite a few different shades of brown. Are you talking about how the song in Evangelion is Ode to Joy? Yeah. It is maybe used for the irony, or maybe just because it's like a classical composition. So, you know, it's just kind of like one of those where it is the done thing to use. Not dumb thing, but the done thing. The thing that is done. To use kind of like classical music in dramatic scenes. Use some of this golden so flat red again. That was way too much red to put on this paintbrush. I'm so sorry. This is why I cannot keep a brush alive. I abuse the crap out of them. I need a less chaotic, like, if my paints came in all dropper bottles, like, I kind of get how that's better for paint mixing, and maybe it would make my brushes last a bit longer. I'll put just the tiniest little bit of yellow in here, too. Just a little bit. Just a smidge. That was too much. I'll probably end up having to add more red to balance it out, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going for brown. It's too similar to the brown I made before. What do I do to change up this brown? Let's see what happens if I add some dark sea to this. Because I also know that's a color I can mix up. I'll make it more gray or more brown. That's reading gray to me, unfortunately. It really just needs more red. Now we're back to that weird purple color that we had before. There is some ratio of these colors that will yield brown that I like. It's just gonna be a bit of mixing to get there. God, the state of this paintbrush, though. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to mix colors. I think Persephone, it had been you that had said earlier that you don't like mixing up colors for this exact reason that I'm experiencing right now. Oh, I think this is good. That could be a brown that I could use. Unless it's too similar to the gold color that I mixed up before. Let's see. I think. Is that different enough? No. I'm getting to the point where I'm making the same two colors over and over. Let's do something crazy. Let's introduce, like, a light green into this and see what happens. I've got my golden so flat green. We'll try that. I don't know that that did anything at all. No, that changes it. That's adding something. That's definitely changing the color. I just need more of it. Need a lot more of it. This is not an exciting portion of the stream, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Trying not to contaminate my so flat paint with other paints. That is hard. Oh yeah, that's a different color. That's a different brown now. It's kind of mixing, kind of not. Yeah, that's becoming a different brown. Okay. That'll work. I guess green. Green was the secret ingredient that I didn't have. Huzzah! We have discovered it. Oh, my video is not moving. Starboy is still talking, though. Okay, let me see if I can get my video to move. You just watched me mix up a bunch of colors and didn't see me do any of that. Oh, dear. Okay, let's see what's going on. Oh, well. Turns out my phone, which I had thought that I had plugged in, I hadn't actually plugged in, and it did in fact die. So that's why there's no video footage. Sorry about that. That was me pulling the phone out of the wall when I had turned. Yeah, so now that's completely dead and charging. This is not the first time that this has happened. Unfortunately, it probably won't be the last either. I am not the most attentive person when it comes to watching out for basic stuff like, hey, is your thing that you need to record and do the thing that you were planning to do charged? So that one's, that's a my bad. That was, on me. Whoops-a-daisy. It's gonna take a little while for my phone to charge up. The thrills of paint mixing, gone forever. Exactly. I'd love to be able to say this is someone else's fault for not telling me that the video was paused, but I don't really want to blame any of you, dear viewers. Doesn't feel fair. So I'll just, I'll finish up using this color, and then I'll close out the stream, because it's going to take a while for my phone to charge. And to be fair, I've been streaming for an hour and a half, and I did a stream last night as well, so I don't think that that's too bad. You can just listen to my voice and then not see what I'm working on, so sorry about that. But it's nice to be able to have a different crowd come around for these. Couple people who were able to catch this just because it lines up with their time zone a little bit better. Maybe one day I'll actually make a stream schedule, and then maybe another day I'll actually stick to that stream schedule. But those are projects for a future me. Current Fives is just enjoying streaming whenever the whim sort of hits me that I should do one. I'm sure it makes it harder for people to actually catch them, though, so thanks for coming around. Sorry that, you know, it's never coherent. Schedule? More like a suggestion. Yeah, it's not a schedule. But, you know, attendance is not required, so... It goes both ways there. I'm not expecting anyone to be here. I'm always delighted when people do show up. I still have this, like, lingering fear that one day I'll do a stream and I'll be there for several hours and not a single person will show up and say hello. That hasn't happened, so, you know, it's kind of a baseless fear, but I guess that's the anxiety talking. So far, I've never had a time where I'm just like, and no one's here, and that's okay. We're still gonna hang out and paint. So, thank you. Thank you for making it so that I can talk to you instead of just try and fumble around for topics with only me, myself, and I to be entertained. Might not make a difference to you, but sure as crap makes a difference to me. That's fair, Topher, but still, I mean, you show up. That counts in my book. That counts. You can show up 15 minutes late to class with a Starbucks and still have a great time. Well, you're off, Chris, and I've just finished up the area that I was painting, so I'm also going to close things out for now. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching this stream. I hope that you had a good time, that you have a good day, that you get to work on some fun hobby projects and all that kind of stuff. I'll be back at you soon with another stream as I work to try and finish up the rest of my townsfolk tussle miniatures. Yeah, just have a good day. Bye, everybody!